Superman. So, um, so basically, I want to ask the opposition that do they have a better alternative which can prevent basically a life-altering disease which can impact someone's whole lifetime and lifestyle choices? Do they have a better alternative for it?
Opposition.
Uh, Chair, may I request them to reframe the question? It was not a question, it was more of a statement.
What would be an alternative if not gene editing regarding the inherited diseases which the humans have? Does any of y'all have an answer to that?
Uh, may I go ahead?
Yeah, yes, you can.
Yeah. Okay. So I would like to clarify. I think we aren't against curing diseases. Okay, we are against the method, the gene editing method, and we believe that we can treat individuals through somatic therapy. Okay, somatic therapy basically means post-birth medicine. Okay, this is much better considered to gene editing because this, in the long term, does not risk the permanent gene modification. Okay, this gene modification could like completely affect the entire human race in the further long run. So we shouldn't gamble with the future of humanity, and we should look for a more further outward look. Okay, and also somatic therapy treats the living person. Okay, like for example, an example which I can give is like fixing the lung cells of a person with so what's the name? Cystic fibrosis. Okay, like basically it does not change anything within their like genes within their sperms or their eggs of their parents. Okay, basically like changes they changes that one like it basically treats that those affected cells. Okay, it treats those affected and it is targeted. Okay, it does not have much risk and also it is more observable and easily notable and has lesser risks of going downwards. So we believe that a much safer and better alternative, one thing which can be a great one in the long run, is somatic therapy.
Chair, may I add to that
Noted.
answer?
Yes, you can.
As my teammate has already mentioned, somatic therapy. Apart from that, we have multiple alternatives because genetic screening and IVF selection already exist, which are already allowing parents the chance to avoid passing on inherited diseases. Then post-birth gene therapy exists with consenting patients. Then stem cell therapy can like help us replace, say, damaged cells and like repair damaged cells. Also, medical treatment and long-term management are existing already for genetic conditions. So already my speaker has my teammate has mentioned that we're not against curing the disease per se. We're against doing it without proper consent and without proper research. So all of these alternatives, which both the side opposition has mentioned, all of these prioritize curing the disease as well as consent, and they're already research. They're already happening, and they have way less risks than embryo editing.
Works. Good answer. The opposition, do you have any POI for the proposition? Any questions?
Uh, do you have any, Niyati? Or should I go ahead?
You can go ahead.
Okay. So I have few questions. First one is that um, I'm sorry. Like the opposition told that this is for the sake of health and it will like create a much better future for a child or a kid with a terminal condition or a disease or etc. But then what would they like to say about the gap that it might create when it comes to other factors such as skin color, eye color, or height, or certain bodily physical features which can also be edited? What would they like to talk about the ethics of gene editing if it can become legally accessible to the people worldwide?
Um, okay, I can answer it. So, honestly, this is a case where you are comparing the worst possible situation versus what is usually done. Even through uh, we already have means of IVF and other as you mentioned, somatic therapy cases where you can basically enhance an individual to their limits, and we do face these cases every day. And but the thing is that despite all this, most of the cases still remain regulated, and people follow a certain ethic which you cannot enforce upon someone. And and I think same will go for the genetic editing part. You cannot again stop the people who will use it um, for their personal benefit and as your claim to making superhumans. But we can definitely regulate it through government intervention and other legal processes to make it as fair as possible.
Okay, any follow-ups?
Yes, I do have a follow-up.
Go
Uh,
ahead.
the proposition mentioned about government initiatives and etc. I would like to point out something first off. We all know that female feticide is legally banned in India, and and also the process of knowing the gender before the birth of a baby is also legalized in India. It's illegalized in India, right? And it is a offense. It's a criminal offense. But still, every other day we do see up with cases of female feticide and many people being arrested due to being caught helping parents find out the gender of the fetus and helping them in aborting it before it's born. So even when the government has put up initiatives like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, and for more it's completely against female feticide and etc. How do you explain the efficiency of something that has already been in there since ages and still not being followed? And how do you believe that in an era where half of the people are ignorant of even spitting pan and Vimal on the railway station is something which they don't even care about and spit on the new railway metro station? How do you think they'll follow a rule which is basically so easy to break by just editing your child? What would
Noted.
you like to say about that?
Proposition.
All right. So uh, the thing is that again, I would first start with that you cannot eliminate it completely. But the thing is that I'll use my claim to I'll use some stats to back my claim, and it is that as the opposition speaker mentioned that female feticide is still prevalent. The stats say otherwise because it has been significantly uh, reduced in the last 10 years or so, with over 70,000 cases being reduced annually. And I'm sure there must be other stats to back it too. And the overall gender ratio has improved from a 694 and abysmal 694 to a 951, which shows that proper government intervention can surely, change the fate of uh, this social evil which we have. So again, same would apply for genetic editing. Of course, it is about it would be a person to person basis thing, but with proper intervention we can surely keep the illegal uses and the methods at a minimum. So yeah.
No follow-ups allowed. Are there any more questions for anyone?
Yes, can I ask a POI?
Yes, this would be the last POI from the side proposition. Go ahead.
Okay, so the opposition mentioned in their speech about the lack of consent. I would like to say to that the embryo cannot consent to being edited But neither can a child consent to being born with a painful terminal illness. And we always make medical decisions for the unborn based on their best interests. So, what does the opposition have to say about that?
May I speak?
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So the proposition said that our mark of having the consent of something which not yet has a voice yet is almost equal to like letting a child with a terminal disease being born, right? So again, I would like to say we are not against curing a disease. We, as my other officer and I stated, we are not against curing a disease. I would like to make that clear. We are against the method, and we believe that individual treatment can be given in a much better and much safer way through somatic therapy, that is post-birth medicine. And also, we do not want to risk the permanent genetic modification. I would like to recount my phrase: corruption of the human gene race. We do not want that to happen because a single edited gene can have devastating consequences which can be carried out if it even becomes a if and the more devastating it is if it becomes a permanent and a dominant gene. So think about what we are handling with, what we are playing with. Okay, we might be thinking, okay, it's just a simple gene scissor which can cut out the bad part and it can stick up the good part. No, we are literally playing with the future of half of the entire human race as we speak. And we shouldn't gamble with the future of humanity just to solve a problem which we can address with ethical medicine today. Thank you.
Can I have a follow-up?
No, the answer is well justified. Yes, Niyati.
Would it be alright if I add to that answer?
Yes, you can.
The main question on side proposition was consent, and they say that an embryo can't consent, neither can a child born with terminal illness. But a sick child exists and can eventually participate in decisions or have reversible treatment. An embryo cannot consent ever, and any edit which is made is permanent and it is heritable, and it won't affect just one person, which like my teammate has already stated. It will affect a whole generation and future generations. And medicine is supposed to reduce harm, not free decide a life. Consent isn't optional. It is the line that separates treatment from tyranny, and that is why we oppose the method, not the treatment.
Noted. The opposition, do you have any last POI for the proposition? Or we could end the debate.
Yeah, I have a final POI for the
Go ahead.
proposition. Yeah. Okay. So, like my during a reply, the proposition told about stats and etc. Right? I would like to ask another question regarding stats. Could the proposition tell me the stats of how many people have done editing of their facial, their physical photos using AI before posting on social media? Not only before posting on social media, let it be anywhere. Okay, like can do they know the stats of people who have used AI or any other filter while taking a photo or anything? If not, shall I go ahead and present what I have?
Ideally, you should be asking a POI, not a statement. And this POI, I believe, is not related to the motion or the agenda which we have regarding filters of the photo itself, posting on social media, etc. If you have any other POI which is related to the agenda, go ahead.
Can I rephrase it? Can I rephrase it like
Yes,
to
you
the
can.
agenda?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So basically, almost 90% of the young women have been reported to using a filter to edit their photos. Okay, and their primary goals being changing the skin tone, reshaping jawline and noses, and whitening the teeth. And almost around 87% of the teenagers use beauty filters. Okay, so in an era where most of the people, more than half of the people are editing their photos before posting. Imagine how the future generation of parents will do if they get the legalized idea of having their babies having a permanent filter of their faces and physical features. What would the opposition, no, what would the preposition would like to say about this?
Noted.
May I answer?
Go ahead.
So thank you for the question. And the concern which you raised is a valid concern. I must agree on that. But we we must take consideration that though most of the young people nowadays, speaking of stats, I read that over 50% of Gen Z individuals have been use AI to edit their photos and all, as you mentioned. So, and we cannot really compare that to editing the genes of their own offspring, right? We cannot compare these two things. They are very different because, as you mentioned, that changing the genes of an individual is a very significant step and it's irreversible. Also, the concern about the legalization, which I am addressing, is that see, if something is legalized, if the gene editing is legalized, then that doesn't mean that people can edit anything and that they can freely do whatever they want with offspring, because very delicate matter, as you know. We are dealing with an actual human life, so we are not supporting editing a child's physical features, skin tone, etc. for you know mm, for personal benefits. We are proposing the use of technology, the legalizing of this technology to cure diseases, to save children from suffering, not to edit their skin tone and intelligence and to create any superhumans. We are not after that. We want to make sure that this technology is used for the good of humanity, and we will make sure that measures are implemented by the government to prevent misuse of this technology as much as possible. Hope that answered your question.
Can I add?
Go ahead.
I think I think, yeah. So, Avanish, you basically mentioned that most of the Gen Z and the teenagers are using the filter, and I'm sure that maybe if you leave this, this technological marvel at the hands of maybe a teenager who is 16 or 17-year old, you will surely see some disastrous impacts. But the thing is that we are giving this authority to parents, and I'm sure most of the parents who are aware about maybe genetic editing would know better than to base of their infant's whole identity based on their face or facial features. So yeah, I think we should just, respect and not underestimate the intellect and awareness of an average parent who would be using this technology.
Niyati?
It's kind of a follow-up. May I go ahead?
Follow-ups wouldn't be allowed right now. I'm sorry. With that being said, we would be ending the debate right now. For the verdict, the opposition wins this debate, and yep, y'all can leave in right now. Bye, guys. It was a great debate. Yep,
Share feedback.
of course, sure. Just a sec. Those who want feedback could stay back. Rest, all of y'all can leave. Okay, for the opposition as whole, uh, just a sec. Okay, for the opposition, why would the spectators get a feedback? One feedback for the spectators would be, of course, please do participate in the next debates. Rest, all of y'all can leave. Regarding the opposition, statistics would be better if you all could include them. Secondly, one point which I did like about gene editing with that the people could use it to actually inherit certain features. For example, like increasing the IQ level. I believe Avinash, right? Yeah. Okay, Avinash mentioned it, etc. Regarding the proposition itself, what y'all could ideally do is that both of the speeches kind of had the same points, And the second speaker of the proposition, Aniket, you could have ideally addressed this problem of people using gene editing to actually make their babies kind of like superhuman or increasing their certain features, which is a long term effect, right? Aniket, you could have addressed this issue in your second speech, since this issue had already been raised by Niyati in the first speech itself. Since the second speakers are basically the reply speakers. And with that being said, we would be ending the debate. And right now, how is stats important? Wait, what? Can we talk after the meet? Yes, Avinash, we could do that. How is stats important here? For a particular chairperson, it helps that whatever you are saying is actually true and is concrete, right? Therefore, statistics are very important in the speech. Thank you, Niyati.
No. I mean, because like in formal debates, using statistics doesn't like impact your speaker
This
score.
is a
It's
mock
dependent
debate,
on your
and
logic.
this is a mock debate conducted by me, so yeah, it is
Okay.
allowed. Don't worry.
Okay.